Hello there. It's your buddy Saeed Risalat. Ever wonder what's the most outrageous thing someone's done in an interview and still landed the job? Well, you're in for a treat. In this video, we'll dive into some crazy, unbelievable stories that will have you laughing, gasping, and maybe even taking notes for your next interview. So grab your popcorn, kick back, and let's get into it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. We're diving into the wild world of job interviews and the craziest things people have done to land their dream jobs. From dressing up in costumes to bringing their pets along. Ever wondered how far some people would go to stand out in an interview? Well, you're about to find out.
Oh wow!
Interview number 1. At an interview for a tech startup, I was asked, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I answered, "In Hollywood, making movies." I got the job. 3 years later, the startup failed. 2 years after that, I moved to Hollywood and am now making movies. Win-win interview number 2. It was 4 p.m. and I had been waiting for the final round of interview since 2 p.m. I had already spent 4 to 5 agonizing hours in clearing 3 rounds of interviews the previous day. With no breakfast or lunch in my stomach, I was growing impatient and hungry with every passing minute. To make matters worse, my senior manager of the company I was going to resign from called and asked me to report to office by 5 p.m. My company had hired a new CEO and he had called for the meeting. I knew that if I don't make it for the meeting, there were good chances that I was going to get fired. The wait was now killing me. 4:45 p.m. The chairman was ready. I joined him in the conference room. He seemed quite young to be a chairman. Anyways, the interview began with the routine questions. The VP Sales was sitting beside him, observing me. After some time, my eyes locked at the giant pendulum clock that was hanging on the wall to my right. It was 5:20 p.m. My heart sunk. I had switched off my cell phone before entering the conference room, and I knew that my manager must have called several times to check where I was. I now knew I had no job to go back to if I don't get selected here. But the interview had no direction. It seemed to be going nowhere. The chairman saw me looking at the clock and asked, "Are you with us in this room or you'd rather be someplace else?" I replied without thinking, I wanted to, but should I be someplace else or not, depends on the result of this interview. I wasn't sure if he understood me. The interview went on and the chairman kept asking me random questions that seemed irrelevant to me. Then I lost it. It was 6:15 p.m. The interview had been going on for 90 minutes and there was no sign of ending. I felt being stuck in time and space. I wanted to yell, "That's enough. You better give me the job now." Then he went on and asked, "We wanted to test if you were capable enough to be an assistant manager. But the thing is, we want to expand our business to newer regions. So, if I assign a team of 20 in a state region and give you 3 months' time, what would be your strategy?" By the time he ended his question, my head was ready to explode. I somehow got my senses together and asked, "Has anyone tried to explore the region till date?" He answered, "No, not really. I finally had enough." I snapped. "Then what strategy are you talking about?" "There is no strategy. You don't know what the region is like. You don't even know if there is any potential in the region. And you want me to take 20 people to this mystical land and help jump up the company's revenue figures. I'm sorry, I won't do it. I need data, figures, demography and physiography of probable customers and the understanding of their requirements before I even think about developing a strategy. I'll never design a strategy based on assumptions. If you want, I can use those 20 people and 2 months' time to get this data, and then we can sit and talk about strategy. That's the best I can do." I was done. I had released the pressurized air that was stuck in my body. No, I didn't fart. Geez, that would have been disgusting. Anyways, I felt relieved but also a little worried because the chairman was staring at me with Clint Eastwood eyes and an open mouth. He looked at the VP sitting beside him for a second and then said, "That's all we have for now. Would you please wait at the reception? The HR person will meet you there." We stood up, shook hands, and I left the room. I was sure that I had not got the job until the HR came smiling and asked me to join her in another conference room. She told me that I had got the job, but not the one I was looking for. The company recruited me as a regional manager instead of an assistant manager, and yes, a team of 20 execs and an untapped region will be assigned to me. I'll be starting the exploration of the mystical land from the 1st of July. Interview number 3. I had been with the same company for over a decade and decided it was time to move on. So this was my first job interview in a very long time. I was more than a little stressed out about it. Suit, cleaned and pressed. Tie, tied and straight. Shoes shined. Socks match. Okay, time to go. As I'm heading out the door, my daughter, who was about 4 at the time, rushed up and said, "Daddy, take this for good luck," and handed me a little plastic cow from a barnyard playset. I gave her a big hug and rushed off, hoping I wouldn't be late. After several hours of being poked and prodded technically, and feeling pretty good about it, I'm sitting across from the VP of HR, a middle-aged woman wearing a conservative suit, who says, "I've heard good things from the interview team, but I do have one concern." "Oh, you look like a pretty straight-laced guy, and, well, things get a little crazy here from time to time. How do I know you'll fit in?" Without thinking, I blurted out, "I have a cow in my pocket." There was a moment of very awkward silence, and I was convinced I'd just blown it, but I found the cow and set it on the table. Another second or two went by before she burst out laughing. I got the job. Interview number 4, CEO and founder. "So, since you worked at X, you must know Ms. Y." Me? "Oh, I do know her. Quite a nutcase if you ask me." 4 managing partners around the table, jaw dropped in awe. "CEO. She is the mother of my child." Me. "CEO. Indeed, she is insane. We split up a few months ago." And yes, I got the job. Interview number 5. I recently took 6 months off studying to relax and just generally enjoy everything around me. About a week into this, I got incredibly bored, so I decided to apply for a job. After a bit of searching, I found a quite interesting one. Looking after aquarium fish for the largest exporter of marine animals in the world. I rang the company and the receptionist said she didn't think any jobs were going at the moment. I asked for the hours email anyway. I sent the resume in, and less than an hour later I got a phone call asking when I could come in for an interview. I replied, "Why not right now? I'll be there in 40 minutes." I had 3 interviewers: the HR manager, the man that would be my supervisor, and my supervisor's supervisor. The interview went a little like this. All my answers were completely honest. "What do you know about marine animals?" "Nothing at all." A few worried glances were exchanged. "Why do you want to work here?" "It seems quite interesting and I figure I could learn a lot of things." This seemed to make them a bit happier. "Do you see this as a career path?" "No. In 6 months' time I will return back to uni doing a business degree. I don't think this will help that degree, nor will that degree help this."
What?
Needless to say, they were completely shocked at this point. Well, this isn't a place you can just jump in and have a bit of fun for a bit and then leave. Actually, this is exactly what this place is. You work with marine animals, caring for them and selling them, correct? They answered that was correct. Well, who's more perfect for this job than me? I know nothing about any of these animals. That means when I learn something about them I will be amazed.
Oh wow!
This amazement will then be transferred when I talk to customers about them. As for the care and feeding of the animals, all the other staff are bored by it. But I will be excited, which will lead to me taking great care. The HR manager smiled at this. So what you're saying is not only should we give you the job, but you will be better than our other staff who have degrees in marine science, because you know nothing about our industry. Yes. I was offered the job on the spot and started the next day. Interview number 6. This was a campus interview during my undergrad from a reputed technical institute. Interviewer: tell me something about you that we can't get from your resume. Me: I'm a very popular person in our class. Interviewer: how popular? Me: without stopping to think for a minute, 8th popular person in class. Interviewer: little puzzled with the answer, 8th popular. Me: yes. There are 7 girls in our class. The interviewers burst into laughter. I got the job offer. Interview number 7. I was asked if I could pass a drug test. I politely responded I need 2 weeks to study. I was hired on the spot. Interview number 8. Interviewer: how are you at solving conflict situations? Me: very good. I have been in a relationship for 4 years. I was selected. And there you have it, folks. The craziest interview stories can sometimes lead to the most unexpected and exciting outcomes. Whether it's landing your dream job or pursuing a new passion, never underestimate the power of taking a chance and being true to yourself. So next time you're in an interview, don't be afraid to think outside the box and share your wildest dreams. Who knows? You might just end up in Hollywood, making movies like our friend here. Keep dreaming big, stay true to yourself, and who knows where your next interview might take you. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more inspiring content. Have a fantastic day.
Oh my god. Oh my god.